I don't want a 17th week, and I don't want a 7th playoff team. I just don't want it. But I'm a traditionalist. I'm a traditionalist, and I'm sitting here saying I don't need a team with an 8-9 record battling for the 7th and final playoff spot. But I'll tell you what, I think this is what I'm saying, what I don't need. But do you think I'll be sitting there watching an extra wild card game next year?
Well, yes, because that's your job.
Well,
and that's our job, and we love football.
Mm-hmm.
But why are we screwing with something that's already perfect?
Oh, money. I mean, that's the end of that. I mean, there's a new television contract. Look, I could sit here and say the ways of the world. I'll tell you the ways of the world. And this shows a perfect example. You know, the world's getting bigger and yet smaller at the same time. I love this show. I think everybody who's been watching it on Audience loves this show. People who run Audience love this show. But the ways of the world changes. People want to stream more, or at least companies that own shows like this one want to stream more. And the NFL, I'm sure, is looking at the television contracts and thinking, how do we get more money from these companies that are growing bigger but getting smaller, taking red ink off the books, even though there's billions on the ledger? And how do you make it more valuable? I mean, I'm spitting truth here, man. How do you make it more valuable so a network that's already giving this much gives more? How do you do it? Well, here's how we do it. You want another playoff game? You want to sell another right to show the playoff game? Do you want to bring more streamers into the tent? Do you want more people watching the sport deeper into February because you're kicking the championship games into the first weekend? Like when Super Bowl Sundays hit this year under the new format, I would imagine. Again, I haven't seen it, but 17 games means, I think, an extra bye week. So 17 games means 19 weeks. Means when we've usually watched Super Sunday will be championship weekend. And when we usually watch the NBA All-Star Game, that's Super Sunday.
Yes, but a phrase that you use all the time, one of our favorite
Less
movies,
is
Wall
more.
Street.
Right.
How many yachts can you water ski behind? What is the point? And at what point is it too much and you're asking too much of your fans?
It's only 2 more weeks. Really.
Yeah, but think about the trickle-down cost. You're asking fans to fork over more money for season tickets, more money for the day of game experience, more money for if Sunday Ticket goes to to fork over more money for streaming games and Sunday Ticket and Red Zone.
Did you get enough sleep last night? You didn't get enough sleep last night.
I did not. I definitely
I could
did not.
tell.
But how much is too much?
Well, your job, if your job is to grow the sport and grow the revenue for your bosses and get more money for the, and grow it, this is what you do. Again, here's the issue that I have. I'm looking at my job and trying to create the excitement for you folks out there. And if I've got a team that's sitting there in the ninth spot, going into week 17 with a, let's say, 6-10 record, and 7-9 might be enough and at 7-10 might be enough to make the playoffs. I mean, there will be times like this. We have seen moments where 6 seed was won by a team, or 4 seed a division was won by a team that's less than 500. I mean, I'm painting a worst case scenario. But what this also would mean, I think, is that there's only one bye week. You don't get a bye. So the Kansas City Chiefs, who got that huge leg up to win their first Super Bowl ever, I mean, first Super Bowl in the last 50 years, they got that bye week in the 2 spot. They would have had to have played, who would have been the Steelers? Duck Hodges.
Nobody wants to watch Duck Hodges in a playoff game. Nobody
agree.
wants to see 7-10 get their ass kicked on Wild Card Weekend. It's not a good product.
Well, we'll see if it happens. That's going to be next week during the Combine.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.